What is it like being a Jamaican living in California in the United States? Hi, I'm Xavier Murphy, the founder of Jamaicans.com. And today in Jamaicans to the World, I talk to Lisa Gooden, a Jamaican living in California. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Good man, good, good. Just chilling here in Southern California, or Cali as we call it sometimes.
All right. They say it never rains in California, always a great weather.
Right? Well, you know what? It's starting to happen these days with climate change going on. Well, earlier this year, because we're still in 2023 roughly, but we had our first ever hurricane.
Oh wow. Wow. And were you prepared?
Oh God. I was just so chill because I remember growing up, where I grew up in Havendale. I don't remember the name of the hurricane, but I was old enough to see it. And Hurricane Allan. And we had
Okay.
this coconut tree, and that thing bent all the way over till the fronds were sweeping the grass in the backyard, and it didn't break. And I just marveled at that.
So you touched on Hallandale, and I
Well,
usually ask a question,
Havendale,
which
Havendale, Havendale.
Havendale.
Mhm.
Okay. So that is where you're from in Jamaica.
Yeah,
Havendale.
yeah.
And is there a high school you want to big up and said, listen, this is the school I'm representing?
Immaculate Conception High School, ICHS.
All right. Is there a teacher you remember from Immaculate that really influenced you and your life at that time?
I'd have to say Mrs. Helen Dawes, history. And the reason is twofold. I'd always liked history. It's probably the only course I excelled in. But Mrs. Dawes went to the same church that my parents did, Church of the Transfiguration. So I couldn't misbehave in her class either. I see her every Sunday.
Don't you hate that?
I mean, it was like a straight beeline to my dad. Anything going on. So that's the class I excelled in the most and made sure to pay attention because I loved it. But yeah, man, I couldn't misbehave.
and
Couldn't
I
misbehave.
and I know you're a lawyer, and I'm
Yeah.
sure history is something that you have to dive into as a lawyer. So
Yeah, I think it prepared me for the amount of reading and critical thinking and recounting of information that certainly in the style in which we were taught in Jamaica. None of this multiple choice questions. You remember, it's essays. It's essays or short answers, and that certainly helped. The teacher I like the least. I won't say their names, but um,
this is a first. I never got the lease.
all I can say is I didn't excel in the sciences, and in my immature youth, in not being fond of a teacher, only amplified, my lack of interest in that particular
All
sphere
right.
subject.
All right. So we're gonna big up Miss Dawes, you said?
Yeah, Helen Dawes, Mrs. Dawes.
All right,
Yeah,
Mrs. Dawes. Big up
yeah,
Mrs. Dawes and her relatives if they're, big her up for us.
yeah.
So
Her,
so tell us about your journey to the United States first and
oh, wow.
then the journey to California.
California. Okay, so I was 15 years old when I graduated Immaculate Fifth Form and left to start college in New York. And back then, um, New York was hustle bustle still to this day, but I had a lot of family there. So that helped me focus immediately. And then I knew I wanted to be a lawyer, but I didn't really know what major I wanted to do at Queen's College, CUNY, Queen's College. So I kind of bounced around and then finally ended up excelling in communications and political science, and then attended NYU Law School. And one winter of 1989, I was stranded in Newark, New Jersey, and it was so bitterly cold. I said, no, I'm done with New York, done with the cold weather. At first chance I get, I'm going to do a summer internship in California. So that's what I did. I did a law school internship for the summer in Los Angeles. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Saw the best of Los Angeles. The restaurants, the Hollywood Bowl, the Greek Theater, just it was wonderful. So I got
Okay.
an offer, a job offer, and then I moved back to start my law career in Los Angeles. So that's how I ended
Wow. How many years have you been out there?
up. Ooh, 30.
Okay, all right. We don't want nobody start calculating here now.
It's
But
fine. It's
over
not a
over
problem.
20 over 20 years, going on 30 years.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. How
yeah.
have you seen, because I can imagine when you got out there, maybe not a huge Caribbean or Jamaican community. How have you seen that community grown? And are you seeing events and restaurants and grocery stores and whatever now cater to that? I know it's a big question and multiple choice question, but how
Yeah.
have you seen that change since you've been out there?
It's it's interesting because I almost want to say it's the same. We go through waves of interest. So when I came in 1990, Jamaica was still a novelty, and brand Jamaica had only evolved into what folks in California knew as the music industry and ganja smoking, quite frankly. And California has always been a very progressive state and one that embraced, out of all the states on the West Coast back then, it really embraced the whole reggae culture from the 70s. So there are always reggae concerts. There's one Jamaican restaurant that's still there to this day, Naturally Arts Foods, but its unofficial name is Juicy. And when I came here, I already had one family member who had attended school here, and he had buddies who lived here. They went to Calabar, the other school, not JC. So they introduced me to Juicy. That's like the spot. Um,
Okay.
we go for patties, and then it had a grocery store. And finding other Jamaicans, it wasn't easy.
Okay.
In fact, it's not like on the East Coast where you use public transportation a lot more. So you just come into contact with more people. It wasn't like that here. Here in California, especially Los Angeles, most people drove, and you didn't just drive aimlessly. You had to have a destination to go to when you had to plan where you're going to.
I
So
can
no,
imagine
guns, yeah.
because the traffic.
Yeah, the
Oh
traffic.
my God.
Yeah, and then compared to now, the traffic is worse. Back then, you'd think traffic was traffic, but no, this is even worse. But there are always reggae festivals. UCLA always had one around Labor Day weekend. One day would be reggae, and one day I forget. I don't know if it would be like Latin jazz or something like that. Tons of reggae concerts you could go to. Lots of choices for food. Now there are lots more choices for food. You have food trucks now as well, and lot more reggae venues and
Events.
entertainment, and
And, and sorry, but y'all also have a carnival too.
Well, they call it Hollywood Carnival. And yes, that started up a while, but I went for the first time, I think the year before COVID, and I had a great
Okay.
time. I had a great time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
seeing a growing community. Once you start to have events, I always said then
Yeah,
they're catering to the community once you have events out there.
yeah. And then early on too, I became friends with the executive director of the Jamaica Cultural Alliance, Dorothy Williamson. She's what I call my LA mom. So I knew her before I got married. And her organization always had, like an annual event. There was another organization too, the Jamaican Awareness Group. They would have their, once a year events too. So that's why I stayed late. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, I got involved with a Caribbean literary organization. And that was a lot of fun, learning about our Caribbean authors, rereading books I'd read before, but having a newfound appreciation for,
Awesome.
our Caribbean authors.
Awesome, awesome. And even Hollywood, I believe there's either a Caribbean or a Jamaican association with the actors, directors,
Yes,
and
yes, you're
so
right.
on.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
so there's so much
yeah.
out there. It's always good to have a community where you can find support.
Oh,
And it sounds
absolutely.
like the LA, area is slowly building it.
Yes, and the advent of social media really allowed us to become more connected because when I came, it was more or less just email. You'd have your email list and actually joined a group of female attorneys with Jamaican heritage. And we numbered about, at that time, I think about 10 or 12, if I remember. So social media has allowed us to connect and meet people and go to events and find more things to do if you want to find
Awesome. So, cost of living.
it.
Tell us how is the cost of living? I don't want to make the presumptions. I've been to California, and
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to make the presumption because maybe it's changed. It's years
No,
ago since
it's
I've
just
been there.
gotten worse. It's just gotten worse. And I tell you, when, many years ago, when I'd hear of the prices of homes, because I was coming from the East Coast, I was still shocked at the cost here. Little did I know that those values were bargains, especially in Los Angeles. So, what Los Angeles in particular has suffers from now is lack of space, right? And single family homes dominate, and
Mhm.
multifamily housing is wasn't preferred. So there wasn't enough development of multifamily housing, compared to like New York City, right? You look around, you see apartments everywhere. So that lack of housing shortage has put more pressure on the price of housing in LA and other
Mm,
places in California. There are many other places in California where there's lots more land space. So it'll
I
be
see.
cheaper, but you don't have the amenities around you.
I
And
see.
people still want to flock to areas that, have more cultural events, dining, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's hard. It's very difficult. Housing, renting as well. One bedrooms in, what I used to consider affordable areas now go for like 2,200, 2,300 if you're lucky per
Wow.
month, you know. Um, yeah. So it's very challenging. It's very challenging. It depends on why you want to come here too. If you're coming for school in California, lots of choices.
Okay.
Lots of choices.
Okay.
If you have a job offer, and you're coming here for work, and it's a kind of job that you can afford to rent,
Wow.
then
Wow.
you're
So,
fine. But they said the median income in Los Angeles was ridiculous. Something like median income was over $100,000. They call that median income
wow.
per year.
Wow. That. So,
Because the disparity in the tech employees. We have Google, we have a lot of these tech employees, and these are young people, and they start off making 150, sometimes close to $200,000, and they buy these homes for cash, and there you go.
Wow. Wow. So I forgot when we were talking about the communities and the support, quite a few Jamaicans or of Jamaican descent
Yeah,
out there in prominent roles.
position.
Your husband, I know you won't say it, but your husband is one, CTO, Gary, big him up. And
Yeah.
I know there's the gentleman that's at the surgeon, big time surgeon there at one of the hospitals out there.
Oh yeah,
Um,
he's in Washington State
oh,
though.
Washington State. Okay.
Andre. Yeah,
And
he's in
then
Washington State.
recently, I'm not sure if you're aware of Imani Mac Morin. Okay, I think I got it right. Mac Morin, who is in California, male. She's of Jamaican descent. Recently, first black female mayor of that city,
All right, I
um,
didn't know about that.
Culver City.
Culver
Um,
City, that's just down the street.
well,
How
well,
did I not know this?
her father is Jamaican.
Wow.
Yes, yes. So Jamaicans are doing some big things out there in California and on the West Coast there. So yeah, it's good, good.
Yeah, and again, because we aren't geographically close. LA is a county. Yeah, the county of LA, just like Riverside County, Sonoma County. There are 26 counties in all of California, and LA is a county. But separate from LA County now, you have cities that, like LA City, that falls in LA County. Culver City falls in LA County. Beverly Hills falls in LA County. The city of West Hollywood falls in LA County. So, when you say you're from LA, it can mean a broad area. Um,
I
and
see.
that, yeah, so when you said Culver City, and I said, oh, that's just down the street. I mean, literally, Culver City is just down the street. But for those who don't know, it would sound like it's somewhere far from
It's
LA.
it sounded somewhere far to me. I never
It's
looked up.
not. No, no, no. Like basically, my neighborhood. Yeah, I'm in the city of LA, but Beverly Hills is literally 5 minute drive. Culver City
Wow.
is 10 minutes. West Hollywood, call it 10 minutes, right? Studio City on a good day, maybe half an hour. Hollywood,
don't,
15, 20 minutes. It's
don't even
it's
talk. My memories, of LA is traffic.
traffic, yeah.
We would sleep in late. We had a couple places we're going to visit: the Getty, the
Yes.
the Walk, all of these places that we wanted to visit. We came. I went as obviously a tourist,
Yeah.
and all I remember is we said, we're gonna wake up late because by then the traffic will ease off. Guess
Yeah.
what? No, it doesn't work that way in LA. There's traffic. I remember when we went to the Getty and we
Yeah.
said, okay, we're gonna wait till late, like leave really late, like 8 p.m., whatever, and say, the traffic should ease up.
Mm-mm.
No,
No, no,
no,
no. You're right
no.
by the 405. No, that
Yeah,
not yeah, that's not going to help you.
yeah, we took a
Um,
lot of side roads and so, but I
yeah.
I want to ask, you mentioned, you have Jamaican restaurants, you have or food, you mentioned the one place.
Mhm.
Where do you get your groceries? Is it is there places now that are carrying the Jamaican groceries and so forth, or
No, there's no Bravo in California. Okay? There's no Jamaican aisle in our version of Publix, which is Ralph's. No, that's not. No, we're not like you guys, right? I almost lost my mind the first time I went into Bravo and Pepper Pies. I'm like, oh my God, there's an entire aisle here. No, we don't have that. But naturally arts foods, again, they always had a grocery beside their restaurant. So that's where I'd go and I'd get that's where I go at least once a month because I like the way they sell their oxtail because it's cut up small,
Okay.
right? It's cut up small in like 2 pound bags, ready to go. So that's where I go. I want my patties, and if I want any butter beans, if I can't find the butter beans in the routes, that's where I go. You want green banana, plantains, yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
you can find it at least where I am. It's just a
Okay.
quick drive for me.
Right. Right. Okay. So you get your fix then.
Yeah, only thing I don't get, which roasted breadfruit over coals. You know
Yes. Yes.
that smell of the
Nothing
roasted
like
bread.
it. Not
Yeah,
nothing like coal. Nothing like a
yeah,
coal.
yeah.
You know.
But just the smell of the breadfruit and oh, can't get.
So, what would you say was your biggest adjustment when you moved to LA and California?
Earthquake.
I guess I was kind of doing it.
Let me tell you something. My husband and I, we've been married about 2 years, and we had the earthquake here in 1994. Remember, 4:38 p.m. the place just started shaking, and can you imagine? Like, all right, remember box juice?
Yes, yes.
Imagine shaking box juice, but you inside the box juice. I'm like, make it stop, make it stop, make it stop. We ran and we held on to the door frame. You're supposed to
Wow.
find a door frame, and whew, that was frightening.
Wow.
That was
Wow. I can't imagine. Yeah, yeah, can't imagine.
Yeah, that was the biggest. And yeah, so that was about 4 years or so of living here. And prior to
Right,
that time, we'd had like tremors, you
right,
know,
right.
here, like okay, fine, but no man, that one was woo.
So do they, I know we've seen this on the news. Sometimes there are fires out
Yeah,
there
yeah,
that
yeah.
you see this the smoke and all of that. Um,
Yeah, that has gotten worse. And where we live, we don't have any fear of actual fires, like driving through fire or anything. But what we'd get is the smoke, or you'd find the ashes on top of your car in the morning because the wind, would
okay,
take the ashes and you'd smell it. Yeah,
okay.
that's a reality. We used to have what we call fire season. It's just a thing, but no, fire
Mm,
season can just be any time of the year, sadly.
I see.
Climate change. Climate change, which, we're having more rain.
Yes, yep.
We had a
And
drought
and
that lasted almost 9 years.
and it's
But
just hotter. It's just hotter too.
yeah,
So,
yeah. But yeah, it was the earthquakes. That was
all
it for
right.
me. I could deal with the traffic, but the earthquakes was woo.
That sound like it's very interesting. I don't know. I've never experienced one before, and I'm not looking forward to.
Well, you know what? They're starting to have them more often in Jamaica, I'm seeing.
Yes, it does. It definitely does seem to be
Yeah,
happening
they're having
more.
it more often.
Exactly. So let me ask you this, and I say this because people think, okay, the United States is the United States, and this is why I'm going state by state, because every state have a different feel, every state have a different vibe.
Hmm.
California people, how are California people? And I
Well,
know, you can't. I don't want to put a big brush across because I know a
yeah,
lot of people come to California for different
mhm,
reasons. Some
right.
want to be stars, some want to be directors, some want to get into business, whatever. But what's the feel of maybe when you drive outside of the city, you kind of know the real people that been there. what do you like? Friendly, some friendly, some what does it feel?
It did, it's changed, right? It's changed. So when there are two ways to judge how folks are, and again, mostly LA, the way they drive, right? In terms of politeness, do they let you in if you're trying to weave into to a lane? Um, they're selfish here. Okay, very selfish. If the worst thing you can do is put on your indicator,
Okay,
practice it. But
that sounds like
worst
Florida
thing
to
is
me
put on
too.
your indicator, nobody going to let you over, so you might as well just ram
Cut.
yourself into the space and then let you go, because then you're like, okay, you went for it, take it. But you put
Florida.
on the indicator, you're looking them let you in. Um, it's a very weird, because on the surface they are friendly generally,
Okay.
because I spent time in New York quite a number of years, and was used to, when I came from New York, I was taken aback by people who would walk by and just say hi, and I just look at them like, "What do you want?" you know. At first, I was like that. I wasn't used to that. So people will still do that here. I think since COVID, people in your neighborhood, they become, in my neighborhood, they become more friendly. They'll, say hi
Okay.
and
Okay.
give a nod. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, but based on California, it's very unusual. It's a city of transplants. A lot of people come
That's
here.
what I
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I heard. It's a
there
lot
are
of
very
people.
few native Californians, and
Right.
I
Right.
I
Well,
think because of that, it's hard to describe what we're really like.
I hear you. I hear you. So is there, again, this question is kind of one of those weird ones, but you know, I don't know if there's a distinct California food, but is there a food you enjoy
Oh,
in
sure.
California?
Sure. Number one is Korean. We have the largest Korean population outside of Korea itself, right? So Korean barbecue here is something that I enjoy. In fact, almost all why I like LA so much is because of the variety of Asian cuisine, Vietnamese, Thai, right? Korean, Japanese. I can have Southeast Asian. Um, it's lovely. I just love that, and authentic types of Asian food too. So, and then we have a large Persian community, right?
Mm,
A lot of Iranians here. So I love Mediterranean cuisine, and you can find it within, the Iranian community. You can find it within the Armenian community. There's this place, Rafi's, up in Glendale, and Glendale is another city. It's near Burbank, and the best Mediterranean food, shawarmas, all that stuff. I love. I love. Yeah, we eat out a lot here. We really
right.
do. And then you have California cuisine, back in the 80s, especially when celebrity chefs, Spago's, Wolfgang Puck, his name restaurant was Spago's here. So the whole style of California cuisine, being lean, fresh, um, you know, creative, and tasting really good, is something that evolved here. I think it's up in San Francisco, but the whole restaurant scene here. If anything, I can tell you about LA and California.
It's so
We like
it's
good food. If the food's
it's
not good, we're going to tell you, and we're not going to support it. The food are
it yeah,
good.
it sounds like I've hit something there where you if I'm coming there, I know who to hang out with
Yeah.
to hit the spots because it
Yep.
sounds like you know them and the
Yep.
descriptions and everything. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh. And
Yep.
and the added is you're Jamaican, so we want our stuff seasoned and tasting good. So you're
Yeah.
not
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to take me to the right places.
Yeah, Genwa. In fact, we're going to Genwa tomorrow night. Genwa, Genwa, Korean
Right.
barbecue. Nice.
Nice, nice. So, in terms of advice, if someone's thinking of moving to California, or
Mhm.
they're relocating, maybe a job offer, whatever, what would be that one piece of advice you'd give to them?
Our piece of advice to them would be to really take advantage of the outdoors in California because the California has so many destinations, not expensive either, where you can enjoy the outdoors literally the entire year. If you want to try skiing, you can go up to Big Bear, in December, January, February, March, depending on the rains. There's snow up there. If you've never tried it, you can try it. You can go for a weekend or even a day and then come right back down and you can drive to the beach. But there are lots of hiking trails. There are lots of gardens. If you drive along the coast up to Northern California, it is spectacular. It's just beautiful. I enjoy gardening, so I feel like I'm outdoors a lot. I get a lot of therapeutic, rest from just enjoying the outdoors. So even if, yes, you come for school, you're working hard, take the time just to
Awesome,
enjoy the outdoors here.
awesome.
Lots.
So I was gonna ask, what's that one thing or event that I should go see, or the thing I should do? But I think you just kind of mentioned it. Or if you have, say if you're visiting, you must do this. But I think you kind of saying enjoy the
Enjoy the
outdoor.
outdoors. But my favorite place, and I said this to my husband, and he said, "Really, that's your favorite place?" I said, "Yes." I said, "The original farmers market at Third and Fairfax is beside what's now called the Grove, but this farmers market was established over 90 years ago, and it has so much charm, tons of variety of food from A to Z. Yes, it can become somewhat of a tourist trap, but there are enough locals there any time of the day. It's just a treat. Anybody who comes to visit me, I take them there. I always take them there. And then I also take my visitors to the Annenberg Beach House in Santa Monica. Santa Monica is another city. It's about 20 minutes drive, 30 minutes on a good day without traffic. But on a Friday evening, coming from Santa Monica back into the city of LA can take you up to an hour.
Oh
But
boy,
the city of Santa Monica has this place called the Annenberg Beach House, and the house itself was the house of Marion Davies, a former silent film star who was the mistress of Randolph Hearst. And then along that is a long bike path and walk path stretching all the way from Venice Beach, going all the way up north if you want. But I love taking people there.
awesome, awesome. Lisa, you have spent so much time with us. I really appreciate it, giving us some great information.
Oh, yeah.
Here is my last question.
Hmm.
It's actually a scenario. You land in Jamaica, whichever airport, you check out, go through immigration, you get out the airport. What is that first thing you're doing? Whether it be some people is going to drink this, or I'm going to dip here, or I'm going to get this to eat, or I'm going to visit this place. What is it, that one thing you're yearning for, you're going to do once you get out the airport?
Devon House lobster patty and callaloo patty. There's
Okay.
a bakery at Devon House that makes these delicious lobster patties, curry chicken
I see you thinking of them as we speak. Maybe I shouldn't have brought that up.
Yeah, those are those are deadly.
So,
Um,
folks, if you're going out there, you're going to meet with Lisa. If you're coming from Jamaica, you got to bring her the lobster patties. That's what she
yes, from
wants.
Devon House.
From Devon House. From Devon House.
from Devon
Lisa,
House.
thank you. Thank you again. Great information and, tons. Thank you for spending the time with us. And as we typically say in Jamaica, little more.
Little more. Bye, guys.
Show us some love now. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss a video.